the planning behind the scenes and how he's already dealt with players. Like Fred was basically out the door when Mourinho was coming, and Fred has come in and slowly started to figuring out what exactly
you find their strengths. Yeah,
exactly.
Right, yeah.
So, and that takes time, and maybe Ollie is trying to, because say Van de Beek comes in and he plays 5 games in a row and he's shit, then everyone's saying, "Oh, you're a flop."
But that's the
See
thing,
what I'm saying?
For any other player in the world, that could happen. I don't see that happening ever with Van de Beek, with how intelligent he is with the game.
Yeah, but he's also coming from a team like Ajax, right? Where
they're all about intelligence. That's their entire foundation.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about how he's coming into United, right? And he has all this expectation of him to be that player from Ajax, and he's not going to be playing that same position that he was at Ajax, where he is the main orchestrator, because that's Bruno Fernandes, right?
Why did we buy him?
Because he's the support. He's going to be the supporting role to Bruno, right? So basically, what Pogba's doing right now, if Bruno isn't doing it, so Bruno's going to be your main guy, right? And Pogba basically past few weeks has been like, okay, yeah, Bruno, you're the main guy. I'll play.
I understand. Right? Van de Beek's a switch. That's what he's always done. He's a switch in the midfield. He's the transition to the attack.
Yeah. So then now that Bruno has all the attention, he's got a center mid and a center defensive mid or a center back on him, right? Usually, most of the time, there's always 2 players close to him. That leaves Pogba wide open. So then when Pogba leaves, you've got Van de Beek in there. Van de Beek is then orchestrating. And then you have 2 midfielders you have to focus on. So
you're going to drop McTominay to play Van de Beek?
Right now I wouldn't. McTominay is clearly in form. But I think
overall, leaving form.
I think overall, Van de Beek is a way better player than McTominay. Technically wise, if I wanted to dominate a game and possess the game,
yes, yeah. If possession, yeah, okay, I see, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
We don't play that way,
dude. We have against Everton. Did you see the stats? Everton had 30, not even 30% possession. United had an absurd amount. They had fucking 25 shots or something like that, and the game was played in the entire of Everton's half. They had 3 shots, 3 goals. So the way that was played, that's the perfect game for Van de Beek to come in and play, in my opinion. That's why when Fred came on, I was kind of surprised, because I was like, Pogba Van de Beek switch would have been perfect there. But again, United have we even agreed on this before we even started this. Last year, United were more of a team that are going to sit back and let you kind of come forward, and then they're going to counterattack, and that's where Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford were thriving, right?
Mm-hmm.
This year, United are more of a team where they're like, we're going to take the game to you, and we're going to possess it, and you have to try and get the ball from us, and then we're going to try and dominate the game, and we're going to score on you, right? Which is a detriment to the defense, because last year the defense was the best in Europe. So clearly,
for a minute,
there's a transitional period, because as a United fan, you don't want to see United being sitting back deep against teams like Manchester City or PSG or Real Madrid or whatever other big team they play. You don't want to see that. You want to see United taking the game to whoever they're playing against, no matter who it is, right? Yeah. So this year, I don't want to say it's a transition year, but it's a year where the team is getting used to playing this way. Because last year, how they were playing was phenomenal, right?
The back line?
Yeah, the back line.
Yeah.
And then, but even just getting results against the Big Six, it was no one was better other than Liverpool. And then at the end of the season, I think United were actually better, because Liverpool did really poorly at the end.
Off, yeah.
But
and COVID.
Yeah, but everyone had to deal with that. So, and then this year, it's more, if you look at the stats of United from last year against big teams to stats this year, there's a clear difference in when it comes to possession and how United are playing. Like, I saw a heat map of United against Liverpool last year. Like, when they just play Liverpool and they drew 0-0, if you look at the one from last year when Pereira and Lingard were playing, and you look at the United team, the heat map, it was basically the defensive third and the middle third, and that was like basically the heat map of the entire team. This year, it was up on the halfway line, and it was more spread out, where it was all concentrated at one time. So there is a clear difference in how Ollie wants to play, and I think that's why Van de Beek is coming in, because you're not going to have a player like Van de Beek sitting back and counterattacking, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna want to create a system, and that's where I think how Ollie is trying to get to is to play a system that fits Van de Beek like that. Because clearly there is a progression into that. And to say that there isn't is just wrong.
No.
Clearly there is.
I agree. But Van de Beek is a 10. He can play 8, but he's played 10 for Ajax for the past 3 years. Yeah. And they've been successful. So what my point is, and I understand we're buying him for depth. I get that. He's not a depth player. He's a starting player.
So then when you bring
he would start at Inter Milan, he'd start at Milan, he'd start at any other team you could give him to.
When you bring in a world class CDM, then and when Pogba leaves, then there you go. Your midfield is the CDM, whoever that may be, Bruno and Van de Beek.
You can't have Kaká and Özil.
See, I think the way Bruno and Van de Beek play together, whenever they do play together, because like you said, I can't remember what game it was, but it was Bruno, Van de Beek, and Mata, and they played to get against
the
each
Dutch
other.
play like Latins.
Yeah. They all played. They were destroying the entire right side of the field. So I do think it's going to be possible. Because I mean, Pogba is literally.
But when are we going to play Mata? When are we going to play Mata just so Van de Beek has a good game?
I'm not saying you are, but saying that you can't play Bruno and Van de Beek together when you can play Bruno and Pogba together is completely asinine, in my opinion.
I was just saying that I would like Bruno and Van de Beek in front of Matic. I think that would work, and I think the reason it doesn't work with Pogba is because Pogba doesn't come back and Van de Beek does.
I don't think you could do it with Matic, though. I think you could.
Well, who would you? You're not putting McTominay there. You're not putting Fred there.
McTominay's not there.
So that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. You need a world class CDM.
But why would we buy a player if we need to buy another one for him to be good? Why would we buy Van de Beek if we have to buy a defensive mid for Van de Beek to be good in a system we like him to?
Again, the thought was Pogba is leaving this summer. When he
that still leaves us without the defensive mid we're talking about.
Yeah, if Pogba leaves, then you have the money to buy the center defensive mid.
We thought Pogba was leaving last summer, though.
Yeah. So, do you think that just because Pogba was leaving last summer that they're not going to have an idea of the center
I think buying Van de
in?
Beek was irresponsible on a personal degree. He started every game for 3 years to sit on a bench in a different league.
But again, it's the same thing with Dean Henderson. Clearly, there was a dialogue put together by Ollie that this is the plan, this is what's going to happen, and then this is how it's going to work. And clearly, Van de Beek was cool with it because he came in, and clearly Henderson was cool with it because
I'm sure they were cool with some aspects. But if Ollie straight up said to Van de Beek, "You'll have 5 starts by mid-February," I don't think he would have come.
He's played 20 games though. He's had 22 appearances.
How many starts? It can't be more than 5, especially in league games. He has 12 appearances.
Overall,
I'm looking on Wikipedia. Senior career, Manchester United, 12 appearances, 1 goal. I guarantee you he did not call Van de Beek and say, "Hey, we want to sign you so you can start 5 times by mid-February." That did not happen. I think it was irresponsible to buy Van de Beek right now.
He's had 3 Champions League appearances. He's had 3... No, okay. I can't... What? He's had 3 starts in the Champions League? I don't know how to read this because it's a number and then a number in parentheses. Yeah. This is Stat Zone. It literally says Champions League with Manchester United. 3 in parentheses. 2, 10 in parentheses. FA Cup, 3. League Cup, 3, 1 in parentheses. Total average, 33 appearances. So clearly, Wikipedia is wrong.
How many league appearances?
I don't know. 2 and then 10 in parentheses.
Okay, that's what Wikipedia is showing me. So 12 league appearances, and we're on game week 23. Even then,
33 appearances. You know what I mean? So yeah, I some of them probably are only like 5-minute games.
Yeah, you're playing in the tournaments that you play your U23s in. But
again, that's what he was brought in for. Because
does he know that?
But Obviously he does. Because what would you rather us still have fucking Andres Pereira instead of Van de Beek in those games?
No, I'd rather have Milinkovic Savic or a box-to-box midfielder who plays the position that we're about to fill. I wouldn't buy another 10.
Oh man.
I mean, that's me though. I don't think it was.
And that's why you are not the manager of Manchester United.
Yeah, well, the one we got's doing all right, but you know he's about He's about to lose.
He's done the best of any manager post Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, but when we got Van de Beek, I thought he would be an essential player this year.
I clearly he's not, and I don't think that was the goal of him coming in. I don't think he was coming in to be in the starting 11 every week.
I don't know.
I think he knew that.
Yeah, but did we go after him just because we had links to Van der Sar? You know what I mean? Like, was he the best midfielder the most balanced midfielder we could have bought? I'm not saying I don't like the player. I love Van de Beek. But I mean, you even picked him up on your fantasy team thinking that he'd play.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't know why he doesn't play in the league. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But clearly there is some sort of a plan, because why would a manager personally call a player to say, I want to sign you? So, and clearly there is a plan for the future, because why else would Ollie be putting so much money into getting younger players? That has been his main focus. He's getting young players for the academy, for the team. Van de Beek is what, 23, 24? Yeah. So he's still got 4 years until he's 28, and then 28 to 30 is usually 31 is a player's prime. So he still has 4 years to develop into a world-class player. I get he has all this experience for playing at Ajax in the Champions League, but again, Ajax compared to Manchester United is nothing with the pressure that comes. If he has 2 or 3 bad games, then everyone says, oh, he's a flop. See what I'm saying? So like
they're already saying that.
They're saying it's Ollie's fault that he's a flop, which right now it is Ollie's fault because he's not playing him. But it's not that every time he's come in he's done a terrible job. It's not like he's costing United games. He's just coming in and he's having a 6 or 7 out of 10 performance, and that's it. If he was having 8s and 9s every time he came in, he would be in the starting 11 already. And that's what I'm trying to say. Is that yes, okay, maybe it's because he's not getting all the game time consistently, but he is also not coming in and showing like I should be starting over these other midfielders, which is also what you want from a player in Manchester United. You don't want a player just coming in and being like, okay, yeah, I'm here, which is my exact argument with Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw was having 6s and 7s, sometimes 5s, for most of the time whenever he didn't have competition, and now he's having 8s, 9s, and 10s because he has competition. See what I'm saying? So, like,
you're saying Bruno's playing really good because Van de Beek's here.
No, Bruno's playing very good because Bruno's fucking world class. I'm saying that Van de Beek is not playing very good for, you could say again, lack of game time. But also, if you're going to be a world class player, like Bruno Fernandes came in and he could have done absolute shit, and he comes in and he just since he's been in the highest goal scorer in the league other than Salah.
I'm not saying any 10 would have done as well as Bruno, but a lot of 10s would have done well, being the only creative player with our wingers last year.
I mean, Andres Pereira couldn't do shit.
He's not a 10. He played on the wing of Valencia the entire year before. He's not a 10.
If you talk to Pereira, he says, I'm an attacking midfielder. So while I agree with you, he's probably not an attacking midfielder. That's the position he wants to play. So
I'm talking about your sole creative mid. Like if you put an All-War right there, if you put
I don't think he would have done as good.
I never said they would have, but they still would have produced. Like Bruno was a revelation, a luck of the draw, like world class player out of the dark.
I don't think he was a luck of the draw though, because I feel like.
Then why did nobody else buy him yet?
Because when in the summer when United were first in for him, when they should have signed him instead of in January, Barcelona and Real Madrid were also in for him, and they did not have the money. That is the sole reason why Bruno's not there, in my opinion. I think of those 3 teams, he probably would have picked Real if I had to guess, because that's every fucking Latin player's dream. But especially if they're Portuguese, but when Man United comes calling, that's three of the biggest teams. That's the three biggest teams in the world that are coming for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
The two other teams couldn't afford you, and then the other team comes in. You're like, you have the pick of the litter, and then when a big team comes in for you, you're like, yeah, I'm going to go there, right? So, it's not that other teams weren't scouting him because